Do you have that child that says, I hate math? They don't want anything to do with math. Well, the question is this a learning disability? Is it something significant that they can't overcome and they can never learn it? Or is it something that's just a preference? Or perhaps it's just something they don't like because it's aligned with their weakness. So the most critical skills for learning math are logic and reasoning and visual processing. If you cannot logic through a problem, math is hard. It's all logic. If you don't have visual processing, that ability to envision without seeing it, math is extremely hard. I say 3 plus 4 and you just think numbers. You can't actually envision 3 objects plus 4 objects. So without those 2 critical skills, math is really hard and not enjoyable because none of us like to do things we suck at. So you want to make sure that you can strengthen those skills if that's something that is a key weakness. Now, another key aspect for why math can be hard, if you don't have good retrieval fluency or your long-term memory is poor. Let me talk about both of those. Retrieval fluency is that ability to recall those math facts. Do you have that child that you've tried and tried and tried to get them to learn those math facts to be automatic and they just can't do it? They're still using their fingers. That is a retrieval fluency issue combined with a long-term memory issue, okay? And math is really not fun. It's every time you have to do a math problem, you have to struggle to pull in what is that math fact that you need to be able to do. Or if you are learning fractions in terms of adding 2 fractions with denominators that are not the same, you have to remember what are fractions, what are denominators, how do I get that common denominator? All of that knowledge that helps you to remember and jump right in to solve the problem has to be refreshed if that long-term memory is not there. So think about when you have to do a task that's an everyday task at home. Perhaps it's a recipe that you haven't made in maybe 2 or 3 years. You have to refresh all of that knowledge that used to be secondhand to be able to make that recipe. And it's much more daunting than if you just did the recipe the other day and you can recall it easily. So when children say that they don't like math, try to understand what is it that's causing the issue. Is it visual processing? Is it logic and reasoning? Is it that retrieval fluency of those math facts? Maybe it's that long-term memory. If you understand why they don't like math, you can tackle it, train it, and get them to the point where maybe math is just not so awful.